Okay, I am going to try to give you a really quick tutorial on how to complete your Whirligig lab. Before you get started, you are going to need to make a Whirligig. You can either choose to print this Whirligig pattern template, and that will have you make 4 identical Whirligigs. Okay, it's got a template for 4 of them, and it shows you where to cut and what to do. So that is one way that you can do it. You can also just make it with a general piece of paper, and you can watch this video, and it shows you exactly how to make your Whirligig. You have to have a standard Whirligig before you start the lab. So make sure if you have not made a Whirligig yet that you get onto your boss, you watch this video, and you learn how to make a Whirligig. Once you have watched the video and made a Whirligig, then you're going to go to the Whirligig lab document. This document right here is just a help document. There's nothing for you to do on this document. It's just something for you to use as a resource. This is what you're going to actually complete your lab on, and when you click on it, it's going to prompt you to make a copy so that you have your very own document. Okay, so the first thing that you'll do is, I'm going to move this up just a little bit. You'll change your name, of course. Okay, you'll put my name. Whatever your name is, instead of writing the word name, you'll just do that and leave your Whirligig lab right up there. Okay, and then here you'll add your name here as well. Okay, the problem is already stated for you, and the problem is what modification can I make to my basic Whirligig that will increase its flight time the most. That means you want it to stay in the air longer than your original Whirligig. Okay, before you move on, you're going to pause this video and click on this link and read the research article. It's going to help you to think about what is keeping the Whirligig in the air and how you might be able to change it to make it stay in the air. Okay. Okay, so pause the video now to read the article and then come back. Okay, hopefully at this point you have read the research article, so we are going to move on to our hypothesis. The first thing you want to do in our hypothesis slide is to fix the broken text. So you can see there's some blue text that's kind of overlapping there. I apologize for that on the template. You're just going to move that text box and move it down there so you can actually see everything. The first blank here is the words if then. So you're going to delete this and you're going to type in if then. So a formal hypothesis should be written in an if then format. So this is the word if and this is the word then. It's a little bit difficult to formulate a good if then hypothesis on your own. So I've set it up for you where you only have to fill in part of it, right? So here I have the word if and the word then. If always has to do with your idea, and then always has to do with your results and your why, okay? So if I change the Whirligig by, and you're going to decide how you're going to change your original Whirligig to keep it in the air. I want to remind you that you can only make one change from your original Whirligig to your new Whirligig. So you'll have your original one that you've already created and think about what's the one thing you want to change on it to try to make it stay in the air longer. You can only change one thing for this experiment, okay? So you'll fill in how you're going to change your Whirligig there, and then right here, then the new Whirligig should stay in the air longer than the original design because, and you're going to tell me why. Why do you think that your new one is going to work better than your old one? So that's where your why is. Your why goes right there. Okay, so take some time to fill in your hypothesis. Think about your original Whirligig and what you've got right now and how you're going to make a new one exactly like it except for one difference. Okay, so at this point you should have finished your hypothesis slide. And we are going to go on to the variable slide. If you haven't finished your hypothesis, pause it again and finish our hypothesis slide before you move on. So we have variables at this point, okay? Our variables are our independent, dependent, and controlled variable. Now, we're going to work a little bit out of order on this one because everybody's dependent variable is exactly the same. So, everybody's dependent variable is the number of seconds that the whirligig takes to fall. Okay, that's what you're recording. You're trying to see how long your original whirligig falls versus your new and improved design. Okay, now your independent variable is your new and improved design. It's how you changed your whirligig from your first to original. So whatever you filled in for your hypothesis right here, that is what you're going to fill in for your independent variable. It's what you changed. Okay, so you're not going to write in what you changed about your whirligig. You are going to actually write in what your change actually was. Okay, so don't copy what I put here. You're going to actually plug in whatever your change was there. Okay, then you're going to think about your controlled variables. What are all of the things that you need to keep the same? So, for example, you're going to talk about what is the height that you're dropping your whirligig from. Make sure that you're dropping them both from the same height because that if you drop one from really high and one from low, obviously one's going to stay in the air just because it has longer to fall. And that's not what we're looking at. Okay. If your one thing that you changed was the size of your propellers, then you should make sure that you made your whirligig, both of the whirligigs out of the same kind of paper, and that your handle's the same size, and that the way you're dropping it is the same size. So you're going to list all the things that you're keeping the same for your quality control right here. Notice that you're going to need to do 3 trials for each one of your whirligigs. That's the minimum for dependable results. So you'll include that in your controlled variables too, that you'll complete 3 trials. So you'll just list all the things that you're doing to keep everything the same under your controlled variables, and you'll include that you will be doing this for 3 trials for each whirligig. So what you've done here is you have planned your experiment. At this point, you are going to pause the video and make sure that you've made your new whirligig. So before you start your procedure, you should have your first whirligig, and then you should have your new whirligig that has one difference from your first whirligig. So go ahead and pause this and make your new whirligig if you haven't already done so. Okay, at this point you should have made your new whirligig. So we're going to go down to the procedure. So this is where you're going to actually complete your experiment. You need to make sure that you're taking pictures and videos of you completing the experiment, and you're going to upload them to this slide. You can delete all this information here. You can delete how to make a whirligig here. This is another little helpful design of making a whirligig. So you can delete all this information. It's just a place for you to upload your pictures and videos. If you don't know how to do that, there's a YouTube link that shows you how to do that with the app. You can also plug your phone into your Chromebook and upload your pictures from that into your drive, and then move them from your drive into your slideshow. So while you are completing your trials, remember you're going to drop your first whirligig 3 times and record how long it takes to hit the floor. Then you're going to take these 3 numbers, you're going to add them up, and you're going to divide by 3 to find your average. Then you're going to do the same thing for your new whirligig. You're going to drop it 1 time, record the data, drop it 2 times, record the data, drop it 3 times and record how many seconds. Then you're going to add the numbers up for trial 1, trial 2, and trial 3 just for this row, and divide it by 3 to find your average. At that point, you will be finished with what you need to be doing for today's lab. Okay? So hopefully that is helpful, and you can get this done today.